Hey guys, welcome to the pod. I'm Caden, and today we're going to be viewing and criticizing one of my recent artworks. Figuring out what exactly I did right and wrong. I started with a character that I designed during my live stream. I'll leave a link down in the description to my Twitch channel. If you want to watch me draw live and give me your input, that'd be great. So I started with this character, and I wanted to do something different. I wanted to paint a creepy atmosphere around him. So this piece is going to rely pretty heavily on perspective. You can see I throw in some perspective lines. And if you notice, I put the vanishing point where all those lines meet right on the kid's forehead. This is an easy way to drive home a focal point. I want the focal point to be that character, obviously. And I want the perspective to support that focal point, support that character. And I'll admit, I'm not the perfect with perspective. There's definitely a lot that I could learn and improve on. But that's the fun of a piece like this, do something that you're not particularly comfortable with and stretch and learn and grow. I learned a lot from this piece. And if you find something that I did wrong, go ahead and criticize me in the comments down below. And I mean that seriously. Please let me know how I can improve. I think there's a common misconception with criticizing artwork. Generally, we think of criticism as looking at something negatively, looking at the negative aspects. But actually in the art field, criticizing means to form and express a sophisticated judgment of a literary or artistic work. Yeah, I got that from Google. So to form a sophisticated judgment, that implies that you know what you're talking about. That implies that you are well versed in the principles of design before you can criticize it. In the last episode, I focused on self-criticism, and I just want to drive that point home, that criticizing your own artwork does not mean beating yourself up about all the things you did wrong, pointing out all the faults that you did, all the little mistakes. It means to form a sophisticated judgment of that piece. And so that's what I'm doing here. That's what I try to do with the pod, is to get my artwork and to form sophisticated judgments. So with this piece, I tried to add a lot of junk in the background. And I personally think that I failed. I failed on that front. I didn't add enough. I could have added more. But I got bored. I got really bored of drawing junk. Man, drawing junk is so boring. I need to find out a way to make it more fun. So if you know a way, please let me know, because I lost motivation real quick. But I think it would have served this piece and the focal point really well if I would have kept at it and fleshed out the background a little bit more. That's one of the struggles that I've noticed that I have when working on art, is I just try to crank it out as fast as I can, which is fine for the most part. That's normal. I get, if I can finish a painting in an hour and sell it for $100 rather than finish a painting in 5 hours and sell that same painting for $100. I just made $100 an hour as opposed to $20 an hour. That's kind of a long example, but I hope that makes sense. So it's normal to want to go really fast as a painter. But sometimes that impatience gets to me and I just get real sick of it. And this is a prime example of that. I got so sick of drawing this junk back here that I ended up just stopping. I just stopped drawing junk. Another thing that I wish I would have done is I wish I would have matched the blacks of this piece. In perspective, it's really important to match the values as you recede to the horizon line, recede back further and further away from the point of view. Generally, the closer you are to the point of view, the closer you are to the eye, the darker the darkest values get. And the further away you get, the lighter those dark values get. And in this case, I did not do that very well. If you look at his pants and his gun, thing and his shoes, those are much darker than the shadows off in the corners. I wish, I'll probably go back and fix that. Ooh, you know what? After this video, I'll go back and fix it. And I'll bring you along with me. So finally, after I finished up the background a bit, I decided to move on to the character and make sure the character melts in and settles in. And this is the first time in this entire piece that I zoomed in. If you're a new artist and you struggle to create interesting pieces of art, I challenge you to paint an entire thing without zooming in once. I'd even say pick a average brush size and don't change the brush size. Try to paint a painting with the same brush size. This is great practice when trying to study composition and how to create an interesting composition that serves a focal point. Because if you notice, the only time I zoomed in was when I was editing the focal point. Because I don't need to zoom in on the little scrap metal over there or zoom in on the wheel hung up. I don't need to zoom in on that because I don't care about those pieces. But I need them in order to serve the focal point, to add a frame around this character. Okay, so let's hop over to Photoshop. And I'm going to match the blacks and maybe add a little bit more junk. Okay, let's see what we can do here. Let's grab this layer, adjust the brightness and contrast so that the blacks meet a little bit better. Boom, that's almost right on the money. If you look at the color wheel over here, I'm picking the black. That's about at the same plane of the character. And then I pick the black of the character. Okay, that literally didn't even move. That's how dead on I got that. Man, that was good. Good stuff. Well, I hope you can forgive me for that horrible mic quality, but I also hope that you can see how much better the character fits into the picture now. By matching the blacks, he fits into the perspective plane that he is in. Thanks for watching this episode of The Pod, and I hope that you have learned something as I have. And if you like this kind of content, please let me know in the comments, or drop a like, consider subscribing. Any support is good support. Thanks, guys.